Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Shipwrecked. This is a confusingly dated film. It says it was 1990. This says 1991 now. Here, on IMDb it says 1990. So, yeah, it's on my list it said 1990. But it feels like a movie that might have been made in 1966. It's got that kind of grain. It's kind of got that the soundtrack, the music, the way it was filmed, the way it's acted, all of it feels like it would fit into the era of Disney films, even though I don't know if this is a Disney film or if it was just acquired through Fox or what. Oh no, it's a Disney thing. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, it feels like it would fit in with, Swiss Family Robinson, Huck Finn, all those types of young boy adventures that take, I'm a pirate, I'm a cowboy, not so much the sci-fi just yet because astronauts weren't the big thing yet. Well, I mean, there was still plenty of sci-fi stuff in the 50s and 60s, but it still has that wish fulfillment adventure kind of situation. It's a period film, but it's also Norwegian. It's very Norwegian. It's not an American film, at least from the look of it. It's not. Everybody involved in it is very Norwegian. Directed by Niels Gaup. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. Writers Ovi Falk Jutter. And it's based on a story called Hakon Hakon. Yeah, it's come on, give me the full name. Anyway, the kid who we're following here is Hakon. Actually, it's not Hakon Hakon. It's Hakon Haakonsen. Hakon Haakonsen is the name of a kid. He's probably like 12 or something. And his I'm going to give you a bit of just an overview. I'm not going to spoil everything because this is the type of film that can easily be passed over, and most people may not have seen it. Even though, again, it's not that old. It just looks like it. Whether it was in 90 or 91, doesn't matter. Hakon Haakonsen is a boy who lives up in the mountain in just that part of the world. It's cold, but his dad is a sailor. He works on a ship. I don't know if it's like a merchant ship or whatever. I'm not really sure how that all works together, but sometimes they can get commandeered by the British Navy. Well, Dad comes back injured, and they're not really sure what they're going to do about being able to hold on to the house. He's got two little sisters, a mom and a dad, and what are you going to do? His dad, as a kind of a gift, gives him a commission. Say, yeah, you can be a cabin boy on a ship, a ship boy, and Mom's like, we kind of need him around here. We can't just let him go off on a ship. He's like 12, even though it would bring income in. How it would get to them, I have no idea. But he's got a dad who's injured. He's poor. Of course, he has a local bully who mocks him and treats him like garbage. He feels like his child rival is a slightly older boy who kind of reminds you of Draco Malfoy and his rich father. He's always mocking the kid and just treating him like garbage because they're better, because they're rich. So how come he is, when he realizes their house is going to be taken by the family of his bully, he steps up and says, I'm going to be on a ship. I'm going to be a cabin boy. I am, in exchange for this, I am going to make the funds to be able to pay for this ship, pay for this house, pay for this property, this land that we live on. And so in exchange, even though they're the jerks, they make the agreement. I guess that's the kind of agreement you made back in that day. And so we follow Hakon on his experience on just being on a ship. Even before it leaves dock, he has to, be trained and everything else. And most of it involves being mocked and pranks pulled on him because he's a kid. It's a ship full of dudes that are, mostly out to sea most of the time, and they're bored. And, hey, why not pick on the new meat and just mess with him a little bit. He has a captain who's kind of hard-nosed, who's good friends with Hakon's father, and that's how he got the commission. And but he's a little hard-nosed, but he's really kind underneath. So this whole time, he's being put through his paces to see if he has what it takes to be on a ship before it even leaves dock. And he kind of proves himself. Otherwise, we wouldn't really have much of a movie, because the ship has to leave dock in order for it to be wrecked. That's why the movie's called Shipwrecked. So, yeah, that would be a real short movie about the kid who failed at being a cabin boy and went home and lost his home. No, that's not what the story is about at all. Of course, he gets on this ship. There is a sequence at the beginning of the film, which I will not give away, that sort of is a dark harbinger for things to come later in the story. And, yeah, well, of course, when you're going to be sailing the seas around different parts of the world, they're going all the way to Sydney, Australia at one point. They're on the boat for months at a time, and you know, there's a chance you can run into pirates when you head down to that part of the ocean. Of course, there is. There's all the things you get with a seafaring type of story. There's a stowaway, there is pirates, of course, and lots of duplicity, of course, and then you have the shipwreck. And what we get is a kid who is actually shown to be quite resourceful, and he survives despite just incredible odds. Most kids would these days would be like, I have no Wi-Fi, and they would collapse immediately and die in the sand. In this case, I don't want to spoil too much, but he creates traps and snares. Is this before or after Home Alone? Because this feels like part of that era when children were making traps for bad guys. I don't know. Well, Hakon he has his eyes on things. He discovers things a little bit sooner than most of the adults on the ship, and when it comes time to reveal the secret that he's discovered, well, it gets some people in trouble. And will he take responsibility for doing a certain thing, or will he cower? Well, it's all about showing the character of the child and seeing what he does. It's a swashbuckling thing. It's a child fantasy kind of thing. Imagine you don't have school, you don't have parents around, you don't have any other restraints. You have you found a sword, and you got other stuff, which again won't spoil. There's a whole lots of other things, and there's even a gorilla. Yeah, there's a gorilla, and the introduction of the gorilla was kind of where I kind of left. I was just like, okay, come on, we're going a little too far in this. And I figured it would play more into the story than it did. It did not, as far as I could recall. It feels like the gorilla would show up again at some point, and then I feel like it was just cut from the film at some point, because people were just like, no, that's okay. Now it's full on fantasy. It's not like real. Because, I mean, part of the charm of this is that, to a certain degree, kids bashing coconuts open just to survive. And I mean, it's just a start. Never mind all the other things that you have to do back in this. I don't know if it's an ancient time. It's not even like, I doubt it's the 1850s. Okay, it's the 1850s. And this says it takes place in England, but again, where they're living does not seem like England. Even though Gabriel Byrne, who is not English, he's Irish, he is probably the most well-known well-known actor in this entire film. Everybody else has a very Norwegian name. Trond Peter Stams. I'm not going to give you this other name because it will spoil something for you. But Bjorn Sundquist. Kjell Stormon. It's like a lot of Vikings in this. So these people went on. Some of these guys went on to probably play Vikings or have played Vikings in past adventures in other movies. I just have a feeling, because they're very blonde. A lot of them are very blonde and just have that structure, that bone structure. It's actually a fun adventure. it does, like I said, with the gorilla, it goes a little bit beyond believable, but it feeds into that fantasy of being out there on your own, being resourceful, and foiling the bad guys. Yeah, I'm not really spoiling much with that. It's a kid learning and always just doing the right thing, even when it's difficult. Finding people that he can trust, people that you would trust your life with. Creating that brotherhood, that camaraderie that he did not have at home with just, a bully, his mom and sisters, dad's off at sea, and so he doesn't really have that camaraderie that boys kind of need sometimes, kind of really want that kind of brotherhood. And he gets that on the ship. Not everybody's too happy to have him around, but for the most part, he finds the friends he needs, and with that friendship, can overcome the bad guys in the end. So yeah, it resolves itself in a nice way. There's comeuppance toward the end for certain characters, and it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna blow you away, but I think those who I keep thinking that maybe my parents might have grown up with this and thinking, no, it was made in 1990. It's not. It's something I would have probably grown up with, but I didn't know it existed. This would be a good double feature with just any of those old 1960s era films that are on Disney. That's from the Disney Film Vault. They're all over Disney Plus now. But if you ever want to live through a kid living a pirate or a sailor's kind of adventure, some little bit of swashbuckling here and there, and just survivalism and stuff like that, you'll get a kick out of this. I think little kids, would also get a kick out of it. There's nothing objectionable about the film at all. There's nothing that would be like, you go, it's a little bit too far, or maybe it wouldn't translate well into modern times. No, I think little kids would get a kick out of it, preteens, things like that. Teenagers might be a little jaded on it, but I say, if you're looking for a film that really just defies the time in which it was made, you got to realize that not even 3 years later Jurassic Park came out. This movie came out after Goonies, so it just really feels like they made it in 1967 or whatever, and then just put it on the shelf for 20 some years. Just weird. Anyway, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it, and so yeah, give it a shot if you're looking for something just that defies a number of strange expectations that you might see just coming right just when you first look at it. So let's pick tomorrow's episode. 261. 261, I guess very near the end. Oh my. We're going back into Marvel territory. We're watching a movie, but it's not the proper MCU. It is a 20th Century Fox acquisition, so you know what that means. It's toward the end of the list. It means it begins with an X. And it is possibly one of the most controversial of X films. When I say controversial, it means hated. And we at least 2 out of 3, we have about, this is one of 3 X films we have remaining in the list. So, yeah. And 2 of them do not have great reviews. But hey, what are you going to do? You're still going to watch them. It's still going to happen. We're going to be watching the 3rd X-Men film, X-Men: The Last Stand. Oh, I'm going to have opinions about this. But it'll be interesting to see if it has aged well at all. We do have elements of this film that have carried over into the modern MCU. So, but I'll talk about that tomorrow. That's what it's all about. X-Men: The Last Stand on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.